In this unit, it's Unit 2. It is Data, Financial Literacy, and Coding. It's kind of a bunch of little topics that go together well in terms of kind of the idea, but there's a few little bounces. We're kind of doing a lot of graphing. So if you look here, it's kind of this idea of graphing and data. So it's that idea right here. So Unit 2 covers a few little things. Our first page here, it looks at bar graphs. So bar graphs you've seen before, I'm hoping, in elementary school. We use bar graphs to make comparisons. So we use, and I'll say that down, we use bar graphs to make comparisons. The bar graphs can be horizontal, like this, or vertical, like that. Right? So they can go up and down, or they can go side to side. You can have multiple bars to compare. Right? You can compare different things. So here, this would be young adult. These are the classics: mystery, romance, sci-fi, and fantasy. We're comparing book sales for different types of books. We can have multiple bars. So bar graphs are good for comparison. A circle graph is used to show how something is divided. So that's the best use for a bar graph, is that how something is divided. So if I have 100% of the people here, and then you have some who like sci-fi, some who like drama, some who like romance, you can see by slices how much each person or each number of people like it. And look, these are out of 100%. So it'll be 35, 20, 20, and 25. So how something is divided. So if you ask a group of people, you can see how the group is divided. So that's how something is divided. You can also do something like a budget. So if I have a budget, you can see how each part of the budget is allocated. So it's how something is divided. So circle graphs are good when we're dividing things. Now, the next word here is histogram. A histogram is much like a bar graph, but the bars are in order, or sequential, which means in order. Sequential means in order. So they're in order. So there is no space between the bars. So you can see these are the weights, but there's no space in between. They could be ages. So how many people are between 20 to 25, 25 to 30? So there's no spaces in between. If there is a space, it's because nobody's there. So there's nobody between 50 and 60 years old for the Best Actress Award for that year. So these can be ages. They can be years. So they're in order. So this is as the years get bigger, the age here is getting older, and here this is the weight is getting bigger. We have a histogram here, and this is going to be from 0 to 20-something, no gaps. And here there's categories, so January, February, March, April, but there's bars, gaps in between. So this one is called a histogram, and this is a bar graph. So in case you're ever wondering what the difference between a histogram and a bar graph is, then this one would be a histogram. See, there's no spaces. They're in order here. And then this is a bar graph because there's spaces in between. They're still in order. So you can see it goes January, February, March, April, May. But there's categories and there's spaces in between. And this is a range of numbers. So it's going from 0 to 24. So there's just slight differences between what a histogram and a bar graph is. You don't have to know too much about that, but sometimes they'll say, does the histogram refer to this? And you have to know to look at the histogram. Does the bar graph say, so they'll refer to it and say something about bar graph and histogram. So now you know, histogram has got in order, they're touching, and they go in order. A bar graph might also go in order, but they're considered separate categories with spaces in between. Okay, so if they say refer to the histogram, you know what a histogram is. Refer to the bar graph, it's over here. All right, our next type of chart is a distance time graph. A distance time graph tells you over time what's happening and the distance that's being traveled. So this is a distance time graph. So here, if your distance is 0, you're at 0. As the line is heading up, you're moving away. So this says moving away from the start point. So this part here would be moving away from the start point. So this is away from the start point. This part here on the graph, when it's horizontal, that means the distance stays 300 meters between this time to this time. So this is stationary, which means you're not moving. So not moving. You're standing at the 300. You walked away, stood there, and you stood there for this period of time at 300 meter mark. And then this last part here is, this pink part here is going to be you moving back. So this is moving back. You're going back to the start position. So this is you at the start position. You waited a minute and then, or 100 seconds, it doesn't say, 100 seconds, and then you started walking away. You stood still, stationary, and then you came back to the beginning. So this means you arrived back to the beginning again. Why are the lines straight? The line straight means that you're walking at a steady pace. That means you've got a beat to it. It's like bump, 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 beat, right? So steady pace. This is going to be changing, so it'll be faster or slower. So if it's a curve, that means you're going faster or slower. This is steady, right? You've got a rhythm. So this is a steady pace. This is steady pace. This is not moving. So that is a distance time graph. We're going to be reading off of them and drawing some. So here, let's try to read off of this one. It says, if this is the distance from home, I'm going to just zoom out a bit. So if this is the distance from home in miles, and this is the time. So at 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1, 2. Here, again, horizontal means there's no speed. So this part here, when it's horizontal, this part means that you're standing still. They're not moving. A steeper line means it's a greater speed, and a negative slope means you're coming back. So this negative slope means you're coming back to the starting spot. Okay? The steeper it is, the faster it is. You have to know this part, that speed is slope. The speed is the slope, and speed is always going to be given by distance over time, how fast you're going this distance over what time. And the steeper means greater speed. So we note that part down too. We're just going to go steeper means a greater speed. Okay, for A now. So let's see what the questions say. So we've got all the topics, all the ideas here. This next one. What is the distance to the campground? Distance to the campground. So this is distance from home. This is picnic park and then campground. So reading off of this, the distance to the campground looks like for A here, the distance looks like this is picnic, this is 100. So this will be 100 miles away. So the distance would be 100 miles away because we're reading 100 to the campground. So I'm reading this part right here, 100 to the campground. Okay, so that's for A. For B, what are the speeds? So this is A. I'm going to answer B over here. So B, what are the speeds for each part of the trip? So I'm going to number it. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 for this horizontal part, and 5. There are 5 parts to the trip. So let's do each part. So for 1, the speed, so speed is always going to be the distance over the time. The distance that you traveled is 40. Sorry, it's hard to read, but it's 40, and that would be in 1 hour. So 1 hour. So that would be 40 miles per hour. And you write it with units. You always want to write it with units, so make sure there's units, so miles per hour. For the second part, 2, that would be 0. So that would be 0 miles per hour, right? There's no movement there. Okay, then for 3, this part here, let's look at the distance. So you went from 40 to 100, so 40 to 100. So speed is distance over time. You can use S and dt. So speed is going to be distance from 40 to 100 would be 60 miles, and then the time it took from here to here. So we're looking at this part here. For number 3, we're looking here, and that goes from this time to this time. So that is 2 bars, which is still 1 hour. So that's from 11:30 to 12:30. So that's still going to be 1 hour. So that'll be 60 miles per hour. Okay. 4 should be easy again. 4 is going to be 0 miles per hour because it's not moving, it's a horizontal line. Okay. And then 5 is heading backwards, so we know it's negative. So speed is distance over time, but I know it's negative for sure. So for sure, because it's coming back. So it's going to be backwards. Oh, this is speed. So speed, we don't care about the negative or positive. So speed, we just keep it positive. So it's okay. Speed, but we'll say towards. So speed, we don't need to have a direction of a negative, but we need to know how far. So it's going from here, which is 100, back to 0. So that's 100. Sorry, I'm going to rewrite this. This is messy. So this will be 100 miles. And then how long did it take? So how long? It went from here to here. How many tick marks is this? This is going to be, that's 1 hour, so that's 30 minutes. So 15 minutes here. Every tick mark is 15. So 1, 15, 30, 45, 1 hour and 15. So this here, this part here, from 12:30 till 1:15, right? So this will be 12:30 to 1:45. So this goes from 12:30, that's 12, so 12:30 till 1:45. Oh no, it's not, sorry, it's from here. That's my, I'm just reading that wrong. Okay, so then that means how long is the time? It's going to be from here to here. So that's why I always look at your question one more time. So it's from this corner. So that would be 12:45 to 1:45. Oh, so it's 1 hour. Oh, it's not always going to be 1 hour. So it's 12:45 to 1:45, so it'll be 1 hour. So that would be, and you put 1 hour over here. Distance over time, so that's 100 miles per hour again. Okay, so no need for negative for speed. Okay. But we do know it's negative, so it's definitely negative because it's coming back towards home. Okay, but we don't have to put the negative in our answer. Okay, C. When is the fastest speed? So where's the steepest part of the line? 40, 60, 100. So this one's definitely steeper. So that should look steeper, the pink. Yes, so it's going to be fastest speed. So we've got 100, 40, and 60. Fastest speed is 100 miles per hour, yes? When is the fastest speed? At 12:45 to 1:45. There you go. All right. C. D. Okay, D is going to be how much faster is the fastest speed than the slowest speed. So this will be 100 minus 0 is my slowest, so this will be 100 miles per hour faster. So it's 100 miles per hour faster, definitely. So my fastest speed is 100, my slowest is 0, so the difference between it is 100. So that's reading off of a distance time graph. Not bad, I hope. Right? So you've got to be able to read off of a distance time graph. That's what that question's all about, just being able to read the information we give you. So this part of this chapter is being able to read off of a graph, reading information. So we're going to try it again. What are the speeds for each part of the trip? So I'm going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for A, we're just going to go through 1. And again, speed is distance over time. So the distance I traveled from 0 to 30 would be 30. The time is 15 seconds. So divide that in. 30 divided by 15 is 2. And then always give units. It'd be meters per second. 2 meters per second. Okay. For for 2, section 2 is just 0 meters per second. And we can say that for 4 as well. 4 is also 0 meters per second. Okay. For 3, that would be from 25 to 30 seconds. So speed is distance over time. The distance that you travel from here to here is going from 30 to 50. So I went from 30 to 50, so that would be 30 to 50 would be 20 over, and then the time would be from 25 to 30. So from 25 to 30 would be 5. So that would be 4 meters per second. Okay, hope you can see how I'm reading it. 4 I already said it's 0, 5. From 5, speed is distance over time. Okay, speed is distance over time. So distance for 5, let's read this. That's going from the top down to the bottom, and the top is at 50, and we go to the bottom, which is at 0. So that would be 50. The time for this goes from 35 to 55. So that time there, 30 to 55, is 20 seconds. When I divide that in, I'm going to get 2.5 meters per second. All right. That's it for A. So A is a lot of little work there. And then they usually like comparison questions like which one's faster, which one's slower. So they don't like to end there. So this will be for B. When is the fastest? Oh, there you go. So fastest speed is 4 meters per second. And that's zone 3. So that's between 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Okay. For C, it says, what is the difference between the fastest and the slowest? So fastest is 4, slowest is 0. So difference is between 0 and 4 meters per second. That's kind of a silly question, but you could ask it differently, I'm sure. C, so D, during what times is the vehicle at rest? The vehicle is at rest between, so look at rest. At rest is here, the zone 2. So 15 to 25, 15 seconds to 25 seconds, or between 30 to 35. So here, you're reading here, between 30 seconds to 35 seconds. You're telling them when it's at rest.